and then I read a third one.
You read World Trigger,
which I'm telling you to read now,
yeah,
because I'm coming off the heels of My Hero Academia, and knowing you don't like, I don't know, typical shonens. This is the best. Like, a lot of people call this the anti-shonen, and reading it, I go, I agree with this. Because there are parts where they straight up make fun of shonens. Where there's a moment where, like, there's a fight going on, and they like, there's a team that like, we need to win because like one of our members is leaving, so you know, fighting spirit, you know that trope where it's like, oh, we have like the feelings, we have that, you know, that drive and the feelings to win. And there's a part where they're just being like, there's like announcers in the background going like, these guys aren't gonna win. like winning is not about who has the better drive to do it. It's about strategy, strength, like actual reasons to win. Like, basically, it's people win not because of like, you know, Super Saiyan power up or power of friendship, but like because they thought it
they're
out
better.
and they have the tools. They're better. And one of the best examples is, like, my other favorite example is the main character is absolutely useless. Yeah. He's he's so useless that characters walk up to him and go, dude, you're useless. And then he goes and does, like, training montages, and then he goes into a fight, and then he loses, and then they go, you can't win from, like, a week of training.
Like, come on, dude.
You need, like, 2 years of training to get to even, like, below, just to even, like, think you could beat us. Yeah. And I like that, because, again, like, it's just like, okay, you're basically spitting in the face of what you need to win is power of friendship, like, the drive, or, you know, training in a week can, you know, get you to win. Okay. And there's a lot of moments like that where I think you might enjoy, where I found it, like, comedic at some, like, comedic in those moments where they're, like, spitting in the faces of shonens.
It's like, I know what you'd normally do here, but we're not going to do that.
And what I like about it is the unpredictability of it, where, basically, they have an ability where they... what's the best way to explain it is when they go into like their world trigger, their trigger form, when they say basically, for people who don't know, world trigger is about a bunch of people from a parallel universe, monsters from a parallel universe invades, and a bunch of people use the advanced technology from the monsters and create triggers, and they fight back against the monsters, and it takes place in the town where the gate has opened. Dawson, did you drop in?
No, I'm here.
Okay,
yeah,
just making sure.
I was just listening.
And so basically, when they get into the trigger forms, they create this secondary body on top of their own. So they can lose limbs. They could, you know, they could die, but still be alive.
Okay. Get it.
Because, like, if they hit to an extent, they get, you know, bailed out and they go. So, my best comparison to this was when I was reading this, I was like, this is Attack on Titan, but done in a faster pace and correctly. Because in Attack on Titan, so many people die. Yeah. You're like, you stop caring.
Exactly.
But for this, is that people could, quote-unquote, die, but they're still part of the cast because they just lost. Yeah. And that creates a lot of unpredictability for it. Where there's moments where people are facing off, and they can totally lose. Yeah. Where every fight, a character can lose. Because they're not going to die.
Yeah, and just disappear.
They just, you know, they go back, but they still will lose. Yeah. And I like that, where there are fights later on where you go, okay, in a normal fight, you know, so-and-so will win, because if they don't win, they will die.
Exactly.
But now there's that tension where, like, they can lose this match. Yeah. Because they won't be sacrificing a character. Because that's what, you know, that's how you know they're not going to kill off a character. Because you're not going to sacrifice...
Yeah, this character needs to stick around.
Yeah, this character needs to stick around to go do development. And that's what I like about it, where it's like, okay... The incremental pace of where the MC is, like, you know, growing, the cast of characters were... It's like you take the cast of Attack on Titan, but you don't kill off anybody.
Interesting.
So what's really cool about it is this is the anti-Shokugeki no Soma in a way, where Shokugeki focuses on the main character. The main character always wins all of his fights. It's very obvious. He's always going to, succeed.
Yeah. Well, a couple cases where he doesn't.
Couple cases. But... And in this manga, it's the main focus is on
all the side casts.
Yeah, is after you introduce the main characters, it immediately goes to the side cast, and then you build up all the other members. Yeah. And unlike where Shokugeki, where Soma's already like at the top, and then everyone's below him in a way, except for like one or two people, the main character is the bottom, and everyone's above him.
He's the absolute worst, and it's just...
And so the extended cast are the cool guys.
That's pretty cool.
And they do a really good job where they know that to keep track of all the cast is hard. So every time a character comes onto panel, they have a little thing that says name, what group they're a part of, what rank they are, like how strong
it's like, oh yeah, this guy. Okay, it's been a while.
Yeah. So, but then as you go through it, you start to recognize the characters more and know, okay, it's that guy. Because each character has their own unique fighting styles and, different weapons and stuff like that. Because there's snipers, there's guns, there's swords, there's...
Literally just whatever.
Yeah, there's a whole, like, they form groups of 3. And there's a whole team of just snipers. Huh. And there's like a fight where they face off against all team of snipers. And it's such a, like, it's a cool fight.
Yeah.
But it comes up with a lot of, like, different dynamics of... Each team has their own different dynamic because they have a different loadout. Yeah. Where not everyone has, the frontman, the background man, and the support. There's 3 supports. There's, 2 background people. And, like, the team full of snipers, it's them constantly running around and taking the right correct shots or, like, revealing where they are and stuff like that. And they do a really good job in introducing these characters where you start off and they're all background characters. Yeah. And then, as the story progresses, it goes into, like, the invasion arc, and then each character kind of is shown having a fight within... Like, each team is having a fight within that invasion arc. So you start to get to know each
character individually through their fighting style and everything.
Yeah, you see them become more of a front lines. Like, you start to see them come into the forelight. And then they go into the rank wars, where I'm currently at, and you see each team fight off in, like, a tournament-like style.
Seeing who's the top and stuff like that.
Yeah, and what's cool about these tournaments, what they do, is it's a 3v3v3.
Ah, okay.
So unlike, a 1v1 where you kind of go like, okay, I could see where the dynamic of this battle is going. With a 3v3v3, like... the battle is constantly changing because it's 3 teams all devise their own plan. But their plan is not going to go through.
Dude, this sounds like almost like a competitive game. Like, I'm playing like some...
Like a MOBA.
Yeah, dude, just like listening to this, I'm like, damn, this sounds like if you took like...
If you made a
MOBA.
If
you mixed like MOBAs and Call of Duty, and then just kind of like rubbed it all together and mixed it with... And took the good parts of the Gun Gale arc of Sword Art and kept it in. Because there were good parts of that and there were bad parts of that. But the good parts were fun.
What's really cool is they're all devising strategy, and it's like they're constantly dynamically changing their plans to the other characters' actions.
Okay.
And like, for example, there's a fight where this team created this huge plan, and then right off the bat, the other team blew up their plan in their face.
Yeah. They're like, nope, not gonna do that anymore.
Nope, you're not doing this. Yeah, you're not doing this plan. And that's why I think, and I'm telling you to read it because you'll see what I mean about, like, tension and urgency.
Okay.
Because when you get into, like, invasion arc up, there's so much at stake as you're going through it. We're again, it's not expulsion, but like there's like they can totally lose this.
It's not to the point where you can't have this character lose because they would no longer be an important part of the cast.
Exactly. And there's so much at stake where it's like, if this character loses, and the best way to explain it is there's a character, so people who have extreme amount of ability or extreme amount of power. So basically, the way that it works is everyone has this inner energy source called Trion. Yeah. And, like, let's just say it's, like, an innate thing that everybody has. Yeah. But some people have more of it than others. And those people who have a decent amount can become triggers. But people who have an enormous amount, that Trion leaks out, and they have a thing called a side effect.
Huh.
And so there's certain characters who are so powerful that they have a side effect. Yeah. So there's a character who basically... if he sees something and then goes to bed, he has 100% retention rate.
That's pretty cool.
Or there's another character who can predict when a gate's gonna open. But there's a character who I was talking to you about this. There's a character who has what I have to say as the best use of future vision. Because usually with future vision, you have the character who sees into the future and knows exactly what's going to happen.
And it's like, okay, a little bit
there's no tension. You've removed all tension from that scenario. And the way his future vision works is you take Steins Gate, where you have the multiple lines, where, you know, branching off timelines and stuff like that. And you say that you're on one timeline, and an action will move you to a different timeline depending on your action. Basically, he sees all the timelines, but he doesn't know how to get to each timeline.
So he's like, okay, so this is a possible option, and we need to figure out. He sees
all the possible futures, but he doesn't. But depending on people's outcomes, it's constantly shifting of which future is it going to be. Yeah. So, for example, in the Invasion arc, he goes. Like, people ask him, like, hey, you have future vision. You should know what's going to happen. He's like, no, I know the worst outcome, and I know the best outcome. and we can land in anywhere of the spectrum.
Anywhere in between, also.
Yeah. So each fight is basically pushing it onto a different timeline, depending on a win or a loss. It's constantly changing the timeline as he's going through, which adds the tension, the urgency, the unpredictability of it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really do need to read this. I'll get to it pretty soon.
Yeah. But that was me reading manga.
Andrew's happy manga time.
Dude, the minute I have free time is the minute I get everything.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now I'm just gonna read this and this and this and this and this.
This and this,
just knock them all out. Dude, I read all my crap when I have shit to do. It's always how it works. So like, no, that's not.
Yeah. So moving on from all that manga talk, we're gonna talk into more manga.
Hey.